Hi everyone, it's Tawny. In today's video, we're talking about 10 YouTuber owned brands. Now, not all of these are makeup brands. I tried to stay close to makeup if I were referring to makeup, but the main item that kind of sparked my inspiration for this video is not makeup or anything in that kind of sphere umbrella, so I do want you to keep that in mind. I was going to rank these, but then I found that it was a little bit hard for me to try and rank these because some of these I liked and some of them I absolutely despised. So I just figured I would talk a little bit about them and then just kind of go over like a general census of like my thoughts as a whole on influencer and YouTuber owned brands and just kind of like how I feel about this. I want you all to know that this is strictly my opinion. This is not something that like is set in stone. This is not something that like everyone should feel or think. You know, my thoughts are my thoughts and this is my opinion and you don't have to agree with it and I don't have to agree with yours. Definitely put in the comment section what you agree with, what you disagree with. You know, if you have any thoughts I didn't mention that you think go along with what I said, or vice versa, thoughts that go along with nothing I said. And then like, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't really, that's more like your opinion versus like what I've shared kind of a thing. I would definitely like to see those and hold a discussion down in the comment section. Make sure we keep that civil because don't need any of that hate around here. I might give a little bit of that because of some of the brands I'm talking about, but I'm going to try and keep it like somewhat professional and at least try and be nice about all of this. But there are some brands that I'm a little bit like iffy about. So definitely like, you know, just be wary there. Also, if you're a new subscriber, hi, thank you for coming. My name is Tawny. I film mostly makeup / beauty videos. Sometimes I do vlogs with lifestyle and home type things, but most of the time they're beauty videos. I sometimes do reviews, sometimes do try-ons, and then every once in a while I'll just use up whatever I have and just do a look. So definitely check some of those videos out. I either have them linked in the cards in the description or you'll just have to go to my page and figure out what's on there. I'm very glad to have you, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and ring the notification bell down below so you get notified when I upload. Videos are usually posted 2 to 3 to 4 days depending on how quickly I'm able to film a video. I do work full-time as a social worker, so YouTube is kind of just like my hobby. I don't get paid for it. I don't do any sponsorships or any ads or anything like that. I just do this because I like to talk about makeup and I literally have no one to talk about it to. At least nobody that cares. So I feel like if I can talk about makeup here on YouTube, there is somebody that will be interested or at least have some sort of like, you know, they clicked on the video because they wanted to listen to it kind of a thing. So now that we've wasted 3 minutes, let's jump into the video. The first brand I wanted to talk about is called David's Perfume. And I'm not totally sure if it's a brand or if it's a line within someone else's brand. I couldn't really find a whole lot of information, or at least not what I looked up. And this is the Perfume brand by David Dobrik. If you don't know who he is a vlogger here on YouTube. And I believe he has also transitioned over to TikTok at this point. He did vlog videos, skits sometimes. He would often do pranks on his friends. He had like the Vlog Squad, which was really popular last year, 2 years ago. I don't really know. I was never a fan. It used to involve Trisha Paytas and now she no longer likes them. And I believe now David is doing podcasts and things through TikTok. And then he's also branching out and like trying to become more of an influencer outside of, you know, vlogging and doing the YouTube typical kind of a thing. He's trying to branch out and be more of a celebrity versus like an influencer, I guess. I saw that he has 2 perfumes out, and the scents that were involved had, I believe, maybe apple and sandalwood. One was for men, one was for women. It was very clearly advertised that way. I believe you could use them whichever one you liked, honestly. It doesn't have to be for men, women, or other. I just kind of feel like that's kind of what the vibe was going for, and they were $60 each. I think for the size, that's not terrible, and considering most perfumes and colognes are marketed at that rate, I don't really think that that's like overly expensive, but at the same time, considering a lot of his fans are teens or young, like tween age children, and like if they decide to be interested in that, asking their parents to get them that for a gift or, you know, just in general, or asking to get the money to go buy that gift, it's kind of expensive. And I kind of think sometimes like influencers as a whole always forget that like their followers and their fans are younger and don't always have all this money to go spend on their products that they come out with or their merch. So it kind of ends up like making them feel left out, giving them that FOMO, you know? I'm not really interested in the brand as a whole. I kind of like, I don't really go toward perfumes, especially because when they're marketed at being that price, which is typical, $60 to $100 is like the typical price for perfumes that you can get, you know, at Macy's, at Sephora, at Ulta, at any place that sells higher end perfumes. They do tend to get a little bit expensive. So I find that most of the perfumes that I get are from like Five Below or Walmart when you pay like $5 to $10 to $20, because I just don't like spending all of that money on that. Maybe at one point I'll be willing to like jump into that, but I don't think I would purchase from David's brand, only because I don't like the scents that were with the perfumes from what I saw. And I also just don't really like David Dobrik in general. I know there's been some issues going on recently, very recently with him, where he had done some pranks that were like not okay with some of his squad that he was working with and the people that worked with him. And he never really asked consent for any of the things that he did to them that kind of made them uncomfortable or made them feel like they were like picked out and like, you know, centered and things like that. And he's not really taking accountability for those actions. He's kind of having other people within the squad like back him up and verify that he's a good person without him actually like taking accountability, apologizing, saying he'll do better, like trying to take the steps to like improve on himself. He's just trying to like get someone else to fix the problem for him so it doesn't make his image look quite as bad. Meanwhile, it is making his image look bad. So that's kind of another reason I like don't really want to support his brand. Another one who was quite problematic at the time is the brand One Size Beauty, and that is by Patrick Starr. This is a brand that came out either last year or the year before. Most of these brands have come out in 2020 or before. There's like one or two that came out before 2020, and I believe there's one, maybe two that came out in 2021, but the majority of them were like 2020 launches, things like that. Like probably pre-pandemic, but I'm not totally sure about that. A lot of them did say 2020 on their websites, so that's kind of something to like, that they're very fresh. Not a lot of these brands have been around for a long time. So they do have a lot of room for improvement, a lot of room for growth and development and things like that. But the brand One Size is by Patrick Starr, and their tagline is, it's makeup for everyone. So it's makeup for men, women, in between. It's makeup for children, teens, adults, you know, young adults, anything within that, you know, all of those ranges. They have powders and eyeliner that I remember either him saying or someone who reviewed it saying it was better than Selena Gomez's eyeliner, even though like you're two separate brands coming out with two separate products. And I know a lot of other people didn't agree with that. Like his statement saying that they didn't think that it was better than Selena Gomez, the Rare Beauty eyeliner, which that was kind of like in itself not very good. Like when a brand owner, especially someone like tied to the brand, is saying negative things about another brand, it definitely can rub you the wrong way. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the kind of scandal-ish that happened with the Beauty Blender. Whenever there were some dupes coming out of the Beauty Blender, I think right whenever Real Techniques had first started coming out with their Beauty Blender, or their version of the sponge, basically, the Beauty Blender, I had to think of their name, they decided to attack those other brands rather than welcome them, you know, appreciate them for like seeing that this is a really big product and trying to implement that within their own, while as realizing that there's plenty of people who would want the original over these like dupes anyway. But they decided to go out and attack them, and it really made their image kind of look very negative. A lot of people really didn't want to shop from them because they just felt like the way they went about that was not okay. And I kind of feel like Patrick Starr kind of did that with the Selena Gomez brand. He recently got into a lot of heat because he went to a party, I believe it was Nikita Dragun's birthday party, and was seen making out with Tana Mongeau, which I don't know who would want to touch that mouth, but that's just like, after she was married to, I believe, Jake Paul, I don't think I would want to go anywhere near them because you never know, like that's a little sketch. And just in general, like that vibe that I get off of her is just like crazy. But anyway, and he was seen like, we don't give an F about anything. Like, we're here to party. We're not here to worry about a pandemic and all of this. Didn't wear a mask, no nothing. Like, you know, making out with everybody. And it was just so like such bad behavior. You know, you're an owner of a brand, you're an influencer on YouTube, you know, you're a very public person. And by him going out and doing these things that were very unsafe and unhealthy, especially in the middle of like the world's worst pandemic, it just really shows that there's like no thought, no care for anyone else. And he doesn't really seem to realize that like he has this voice and this like image that other people are watching, and they see him go out and do this and think, well, if he does this, I can do this because I'm not nearly as popular as he is. I don't live in as big a city as he does, so I can go do what I want. And then here we are with more, you know, outbreaks and whatnot. And then we're going back into quarantine again. So I kind of feel like that for the main reason is why I don't want to shop his brand. I was really interested in the palette whenever it came out. I kept seeing pictures of it, and while it's like your basic, they want to just have all the rainbow colors, like knock everything in at once. There's not really any kind of like they didn't go with a theme or anything like that. I like was still kind of interested in it. I wasn't really interested in the spray that they had. I just kind of felt like it was a little bit too intense. It kind of reminded me of the Huda spray that was like everyone said was like hairspray, and I just wanted to steer clear of that. And then he came out with makeup wipes in the middle of like an environmental crisis where everyone is being more environmentally conscious about their choices. They're switching from wipes to, you know, makeup removing balms and cleansers and things like that, and using more products that are healthy for the environment. And here he is coming out with these ginormous face-sized makeup wipes. And it's like, do you not understand the situation we're in? And do you not understand like the, you know, products that people are interested in, the stuff that your consumers are interested in buying and whatnot? And I kind of felt like that was very, not so much tone deaf, but just very like, he wasn't thinking, you know what I mean? And as an owner of a brand that's like starting out and still like building its reputation, and he has to build his credibility within people that aren't fans of his, I feel like that's like really knocking him down a peg. So that kind of makes me not want to buy from him. And another influencer that goes along the same lines is Jaclyn Hill with Jaclyn Cosmetics. Now, I was never a fan of Jaclyn Hill. When I first started watching YouTube videos, I immediately was like a fan of like Laura Lee Los Angeles. I was, you know, a fan of Manny for like a brief period of time. Like I was a big fan of like them and J Star, like all of them around that time. And I didn't really watch many Jaclyn videos. I wasn't quite interested in her. I knew about the first Morphe palette, but I didn't really like, wasn't my color scheme. I eventually bought it off Poshmark, but I wasn't supporting her. I was supporting somebody else who had already bought it, and that's, you know, their personal thing. And it's not a bad palette, but it's definitely not my favorite palette I own. I like forget that I own it half the time, and then I'll see it and be like, oh yeah, I did buy that. But when she came out with her lipsticks, everyone was kind of hesitant because there had been this scandal with, she had come out with these, I believe, 12 pan, 10 pan palettes. It was the Vault collection with Morphe, and there were problems with the consistency of the shadows, and she wasn't taking accountability for what happened. She wasn't trying to say like, I don't know what happened, we'll fix this. She wasn't really trying to fix any of that, which I do believe at the time was kind of Morphe controlling her, because I don't really feel like Jaclyn had as much to do with all of that. And in terms of like how things were working within like that release as Morphe did, because she was just kind of putting her name on the product, like, you know, saying that she wants this to be a shimmer or a matte, that she wants this shade over this shade. Like that was really all the control that Jaclyn really had, at least from what I'm, you know, assuming. But so I kind of feel like Morphe really threw her under the bus there. So I was a little bit leery of the lipstick launch, but I was still at the same time like, maybe it'll be okay. Like maybe it won't be the worst thing ever. And I feel like lipsticks are a very safe way to go, which is so funny that I say that. But it's almost like a safe way to go because it gives people the chance to like build from there. Because lipsticks are something you can't really screw up. I say this when I know what's exactly happened. You know, I'm like, I almost put LOL beside lipsticks because I just knew. But like they're definitely a good starting point. I mean, I would rather see like face products like, you know, a concealer or a foundation or something like that. But I feel like lipsticks are definitely an easy way to get people that aren't even your followers, that maybe aren't into makeup, but just see your product and think that it's cute or it's good looking, or like they like the color, so they'll end up buying it, even though they don't really need to buy it from this brand. And it just kind of like is a good way to like launch your brand. Well, there were problems with the lipsticks where if you watch Raw Beauty Christie's video where she uses a microscope, there are lumps of unknown items in the lipsticks. There are fibers within the lipsticks that look like hairs. I believe there might be fibers and hairs. I'm not totally sure, but they kind of all like grouped together. And there were also shards of metal, which were very dangerous because you can either cut your lip or you can get an infection, or you can, cut your lip and then get the infection. Like, it just kind of, all of these things accumulated with that. And while that's like a huge problem, it's something that like you can own up to it, apologize, correct the issue, give people the refund, give them their new product, and move on from that. Well, Jaclyn never really addressed the issue. Then she came out with an apology. I don't remember how long after, but it felt like it was a little too long after, and blamed like everybody else but her. Didn't take accountability. And as a brand owner, I feel like that's very problematic. So it kind of made me not want to buy anything more beyond that, especially whenever she's the type, as a YouTuber, when you're supposed to be bringing in a fan base and keeping people, like getting fans to become your customers, she would only upload a video whenever she was coming out with a new launch. And it kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I felt like she was kind of taking advantage of people. Like, oh, hey, I'm back. I'm your best friend. Buy from me. Like, I'd rather you keep posting consistently and then occasionally do a couple videos with your product, talking about your product, do a video talking up your product, and, so forth. Like, Samantha Ravndal's been a really good one about that. We're going to talk about her brand soon. And there's other brands that, are so good with that. They definitely keep consistently posting, and then we'll also throw in like, hey, here's this launch of a product I have. So I kind of feel like that definitely made me not want to buy from her. And then she came out with these highlighters that everybody raves about. And it kind of like annoyed me that people were buying from her, knowing how sketchy of a past she had, especially like from her brand. Like, her herself was already sketchy enough. And then her brand is giving you issues and you're still going to buy from her. She came out with these bronzer and blush duos very recently. I believe they've either come out or are going to come out, but it's around this time. And I saw some swatches from Samantha Ravndal on her Twitter where all 4 bronzers and all 4 blushes from 4 different sets looked exactly the same. They were swatching the same. And I know that she's trying to have diversity within them, and they do look different in the pictures. But from that swatch, it just kind of like seems like she just wanted to throw some products out there to make some money and just get some sucker to buy them. And while they do look nice and I kind of contemplated getting them, I just kind of was like, it just makes me kind of yucky buying from them. And that's kind of how I feel about Morphe as well. So that's definitely a brand I will not be purchasing from. Another brand is Dragon Beauty. Now, Dragon Beauty is owned by Nikita Dragon, and she started this, I believe, a year or 2 ago. And her brand is centered around dragons because like that's kind of her whole thing, which is really cool that her brand has an aesthetic. I have to give her that. Like, at least she's trying to come out with something like innovative, do something different, have her brand stand out compared to other brands that are just going sleek and modern and just keeping things very basic. So her brand, she first came out with a color corrector that was very orange. It was one shade. She didn't have a lighter one, a deeper one, nothing. It was just one shade. Then she came out with 2 powders. I believe one was a banana powder and one was either like a purplish powder or it was like a plain powder, and it came in a set that was in like an egg-shaped like palette, and they, to me, seemed like products that would only work on her, which kind of like, I hate when like influencers, YouTubers, what have you, brand owners in general come out with products like that are mainly geared for them. Like, they're making the brand for themselves. Like, if you wanted to do that, like I don't even know what like the option is, like the other way to go from there. But it just kind of feels like that's not okay, like especially in my eyes. Like, you're trying to sell 4 multiple color ranges and skin tones and skin types, but yet here you are pushing out stuff that only works for you. And it just kind of like is ugh. And I was never really interested in the products after seeing reviews. Even seeing them at first, I wasn't. But after seeing reviews, I just kind of was like, there's nothing really pushing me to buy them. And then she came out with liquid lipsticks. I believe there was like one red liquid lipstick, and that was kind of it. And that was just kind of like another lazy release. Like, wait till you have a collection of them with multiple colors. Do something like Jaclyn Hill did with the launch of the lipsticks. Like, at least without, all the crap that is in them that shouldn't be. But like, come out with a collection of them, give people PR that are, able to push it on you and push it for you, and then be able to like, offer up the individual ones to your customers. And it just seems very like, she's not really trying hard. She's just trying to like push herself basically, and I don't really understand like the whole logics behind that. I do know she came out with, I believe, a pink colored eyeshadow palette, and it will look really nice, but I just didn't want to support her. So it kind of like, well, I guess I'm not getting that. So that's kind of, it's just not the greatest brand. I feel like out of the other two I mentioned, I feel like hers would be like the one maybe more interesting to try. But at the same time, she's also been very problematic in terms of the pandemic. She's been partying without masks. She's been hanging out with Bryce Hall, who's definitely like the worst offender of all. So that kind of like, I should have jumped into that because that definitely is not okay. So like, don't support her at all. Like, just skip all three of those. The next one is Orc Beauty. And I believe that's how you pronounce it. That's how I've been pronouncing it since I saw the thumbnail picture. And this is the brand by Samantha Ravndal. Samantha Ravndal is a Canadian-based YouTuber here on YouTuber on YouTube. Hello. Like, well, why wouldn't she be? She has been doing YouTube reviews for a very long time now. Like, I'm talking like 5-6 years plus. Like, she's been around for a long time. She's very geared toward lightweight makeup that's not very heavy. It's very light on the skin. It doesn't really offer a whole lot of coverage, but it still makes your skin look nice and healthy. And she's someone that's always struggled with acne, or at least not struggled, but she has acne. I should say that because maybe she's not struggling. Maybe she's okay with it, and that's perfectly fine. You know, there's people that are okay with it, and there's people like me that keep staring at my pimples, but you know, you do you. And she came out with some new products recently, and I'm very excited for her because she has a lot going on in her life, and she's like killing 2021 already. Like, she's pregnant, she has a podcast that looks like fantastic, she has a makeup line, she has a YouTube channel. Like, she is just like, girl is having awesome time. Like, congratulations, like, this is amazing. And she came out with, it looked like a foundation, but it's actually similar to the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter something. I can't even believe I remembered the first three things of that. But it's a luminizer that you can put underneath your makeup or just wear without, you know, putting on foundation. And it just kind of adds a bit of like sheen and, you know, brightness to your skin and gives it that shine without really providing a whole lot of coverage. And I've seen a lot of people say it's such an interesting product, and I do have to agree. It's a very interesting product, especially because she came out with like 6 or 7 shades, which for something like that, you can come out with something with less shades because then they can always like adapt to your skin, or you can mix them with your foundation. You don't always have to have them match completely because they're not offering enough coverage to like be totally obvious that you're not wearing the same color, you know what I mean? And then she came out with these cream to powder eyeshadow duos, and I think you could buy them separately. You don't have to buy them together. And I think the concept of that is so cool because when you mix them, they like have this whole different shade that's like completely different from like what the original two looked like, and it's just so cool. Like, I think her brand is really being revolutionary in the makeup, you know, industry. It's really coming out with products that like we've never seen before, we're very interested in, and at least like pushing the boundaries of what makeup we have so far. And while we have seen something like the Charlotte Tilbury, you know, Flawless Filter, she's coming out with her own thing that I think is a little bit different than that. The next brand I want to talk about is Chamberlain Coffee. Chamberlain, I think that's what it is. And this is a brand by Emma Chamberlain. And this brand is Emma Chamberlain's brand. I don't even know how to pronounce her last name. The more I look at it, the more I feel like I'm pronouncing it wrong. She came out with her own coffee line, and I didn't really look a whole lot into it because coffee's not my thing. I'm not at all interested in purchasing from this brand just because I'm not interested in makeup, or just because I'm not interested in coffee. So I kind of like, that's why I'm not really like looking as much into it as I like most people are. But I've seen that a lot of influencers have been getting into the coffee game, and I'm not quite sure what that is about. I'm not quite sure why that's become a thing. Like people drinking coffee so excessively that they feel like that's a whole industry that's like worth marketing and like making money off of, because if so, that's like genius and brilliant. But at the same time, like, I don't get it just because I don't drink coffee. So that's kind of like something to like keep in mind, that like I just don't get it because I just don't drink coffee. But so I kind of think that might be like a genius way for her to make money, is by doing this coffee brand. And I believe she does like coffee, so it makes sense. But at the same time, I'm just thinking like, I feel like this is out of left field when she has like a clothing brand I believe she has one that's like one size fits all kind of thing. Like maybe it's her merch or something. I'm not totally sure, but like it just seems so different from what she usually does. But it does seem like something that like she's interested in. So at least I have to give her credit for that she's just not coming out of left field and putting out something that like no one ever expected her to do. So I have to give her credit for that. But I feel like if you're interested in coffee, you can try it out, and then definitely let me know in the comment section if you're interested in it, like if it's any good. But for me personally, it's just not something I'm like really pushing for. And I also heard that she came out with a skincare line, which is really funny because she had done a video with Hiram here about skincare and just kind of like had no idea what about skincare, didn't know anything. And then for her to come out with like a line just seems really like like you're writing a paper on a subject you know nothing about and acting as if you know everything. And like, I'm just very confused. I'd be interested to see how it is, but at the same time, like, I don't want to try it myself. So there's that. And the next one I want to talk about is Holo Taco. I feel like that's how you pronounce it. It's like holographic, so it's Holo Taco. This is a brand by Simply Nailogical, and if you don't know who she is, I'm not quite sure what her name is. I think it might be Christina, but I'm not totally sure. I've never really watched any of her videos just because nail art and nails aren't really like anything that... I'm barely lucky I'm able to get the nail polish on my nail. So that's kind of like where I don't even have my nails painted currently because I'm so lazy with it. Not even my toes are painted. And usually like the nail polish lasts forever on your toes. But not for me because they're not painted. But she came out with her own nail polish line, which I think is the smartest move anyone could have ever done. Like, forget makeup artists coming out with makeup. This is genius. Like, she is the, like, nail queen coming out with her own nail line. And I feel like that's really, like, something that, like, she's really pushing the boundaries and, like, the limits and, like, really getting herself out there. And I feel like that's, like, such a girl power move. Like, today is International or National Women's Day or whatever. So, like, mad props to you. Simply Nailogical. Don't know what your first name is. I apologize. She came out with a bunch of different nail polishes. They seem to be doing really well. I've heard really good things about them, so that's definitely something like, definitely try them out if you're interested. I currently am not interested just because I don't really do my nails as much, but if I were, I would definitely try them out just to see like what the hype is. Next brand is M Cosmetics, and this is the makeup brand by Michelle Phan. I have seen a lot of really good reviews and really good things about the makeup line from her. I've seen a lot of good things about the blush products in particular, so I would definitely be interested in trying those. I like the aesthetic of the eyeshadow palettes, but not so much the way they're laid out, so that's something I'm a little bit like... don't really have an interest in trying, but maybe somewhere down the line I might. But I definitely think that's a good move for her because she was one of like the first makeup YouTubers, and she was definitely somebody that really like taught all of us beginners how to do makeup, or at least not me because that was before my time. But like most YouTubers who started makeup channels watched her as their like inspiration starting out early on. So I feel like this was a good way for her to keep herself like in the makeup world without having a YouTube channel, which I'm not really sure if she still has one, but I know as of recently she hasn't been posting a whole lot. The next one is Exo Beauty, and this is by Shan Exo. I believe that's how you say her name. There's gonna be a picture up through here, so you can definitely like use that for reference. I had no idea she was the owner of this brand. I had seen one of like the newest eyeshadow palettes posted on Instagram somewhere. I don't even know if it was like by the brand or if it was just some random page. I don't think it was like Trend Mood or anything, but I saw the palette and I just kept thinking it was so different from what you usually see and not like the same color story. It wasn't very monochromatic. It was something that was very different, and it kind of made me want to buy it. So I've been looking up the brand, and she has a lot more than just eyeshadow palettes. Like, she has lashes, makeup brushes, palettes, lipsticks, liquid lipsticks, anything you can think of, I'm pretty sure she has it. I feel like this brand's been around for a while, but because she's from New Zealand, it like definitely is not something that's been on my radar. It was something I looked up whenever I was looking up other YouTubers who... Okay, so we're back. Technical difficulties. Hopefully this will get sorted out. So Shan Exo, I don't even know how to pronounce her name. She has been on YouTube for a while. I've seen her do a lot of like color pop videos and things like that. And her website just has so much makeup on there. I think it's so cool to see that. I had no idea, so definitely check that out. I'll have all of the websites linked down below you can look up and buy from. I don't always recommend all of them, but I'll put them down below because I'm talking about them, and like it, if you're interested, you can shop from them. Just because I'm not interested doesn't mean you won't be. And then the last one I want to talk about is Nakia Joy Cosmetics, and that is owned by Nakia Joy here on YouTube, obviously. Nakia Joy, I've been a follower of her for like 3-4 years now, since I like pretty much started YouTube. I was looking up somebody who had oily skin like me and kind of like needed products to mattify, and that was kind of what I was going for when I first started makeup. Now I just watch everything and like manage the makeup on my own and like just kind of figure it out from there. Like I've learned enough that I can like handle that, you know. And she came out with her own makeup line, I believe 2 years ago, possibly. She first started out with a loose powder. I believe there was like multiple shades, but I'm not totally sure. But she came out with the loose powder and then sponges to go with it. And I feel like the powder works really well. I've only seen videos of people talking about it. I don't have it personally. I am very interested in testing out the brand though, because I really like Nakia. I feel like she's like such a nice, bubbly person. Always has a lot of nice things to say. She has really nice videos here on YouTube, so definitely check her out. She also has brushes, and I believe she is also coming out with, yes, she has loose pigments, which are so cool. Like they're really nice glitters in like these pots, and they're like, they look stunning. Some of them are like multicolors, like it's amazing. Like I'm very interested in trying those as well. She is Australian based, so the shipping might be a little bit funky if you're not from Australia, but I believe she can ship internationally. So definitely check that brand out, and check her out here on YouTube because she's fabulous. She is definitely a brand that I'd be interested in trying. So yeah, that is all the YouTubers and YouTuber brands I wanted to talk about today. I apologize for any technical difficulties that happened in the middle of this video. Had some issues with storage and whatnot. You know how it is. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and ring that notification bell down below so you get notified when I upload my videos. It's typically 3 to 4 days, but sometimes it's longer, shorter, just depending on how many videos I have pre-filmed or how much time I have to film the videos. So that's definitely something that like is so sporadic week to week. It's very different, changes each week. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to tell me in the comment section or like, so that way I know, you know, to keep doing videos like this or to change up my pattern. I'm trying to do videos that aren't quite me doing makeup or makeup related, but are still within that realm, so I can talk about makeup without actually like having makeup involved, if that makes sense. So yeah, that is all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.